Hello, hello. Welcome with Coffee and Connect with Lanita. This has been a while since I've done a live stream. And so I really wanted to just have a little bit of conversation when it comes to our wellness, our personal wellness as women, as as career professionals, exploring entrepreneurship, transitioning into entrepreneurship, even if that is full time for you or part time. But the key is you're holding multiple hats because you're still in your career field. You're doing great things for your organization as a leader. You're doing great things for your family, but then you're also exploring entrepreneurship. And with that, it's important for us to make sure that we are taking care of our self-care. And so a few things that I want to talk about, this is just a reminder because this month we actually have different celebrations that we have going on in May. We recently just had Cinco de Mayo. We're going to be going through Mother's Day. And so in the month of May and beyond, we actually focus on wellness, mental health wellness. And so I really want to focus not just on the mental health, but to focus on the areas that is part of self-care. So our mental wellness is part of self-care, but the key with that is if we are not aligned, if we're not doing the things that we need to do is taking care of our mental wellness, or some they say mental fitness, that impacts every other thing within our bodies, internally and externally, so that it impacts how we are physically. We could be mentally drained, and so physically not wanting to get up, not wanting to exercise, not wanting to eat, or overeating, worrying, thinking, having anxiety, all these things mentally that we deal with: anxiety, social anxiety, depression, all those things. But we have great professionals that take care of us in those areas. It's being mindful as an entrepreneur, because again, solopreneurs, or you're transitioning to where you're building a team. However, these are factors that play a role when it comes to the stressors that we have. And some of these stressors are positive things. So I just want to do reminders as we go in the month of May and beyond, talking about how important it is for our self-care. As a resilient expert, I am master resilience trained within the Army. I'm also certified in positive psychology as a life coach, also personal development coach. So these are areas that I've been focusing on over the years. Master resiliency since 2011, positive psychology since 2017 or 2018. Get the dates mixed up or the years mixed up. So around that time, that's pretty much when I actually got certified with all those great things. And so I continue to get certified, stay abreast on what is going on when it comes to the world of personal development, when it comes to career professionals, and how that impacts us when it comes to our daily lives. So with further ado, I don't want to keep this long, but I want to just do a short video to remind you how important it is. So there's three key areas that I did share on my social media. So if you're not familiar with me, you can also join me on Instagram, where I share self-care tips and tools, where I talk about prioritizing yourself, normalizing that. And so it's I am Lanita Cornett. That is my Instagram. To include my Pinterest is I am Lanita Cornett. And so those platforms is where I share a lot of my content when it comes to self-care. So the first thing I want to talk about is prioritizing your self-care. And what does that mean to you? Well, there's different domains of self-care. Okay. So when we hear the term self-care, it's very broad. Okay. So I'm going to narrow it down by each domain to where you can focus on. I'm not going to go into detail with every last one of them, but it's important for us to know the importance of each. Okay. So when it comes to our self-care, right, we have our physical self-care, we have our emotional self-care, we have our mental self-care, like I talked about, as far as our mental wellness, our anxiety, are we depressed, or there's other mental issues that we may have. That those are just examples, not to be in exclusive with just those, but there's several mental health concerns that we may have, or individuals that you're close to or you work with may have issues with because of the environment that they're in or other factors. Okay, so then you have your mental emotional, physical. You have social interactions with others. Individuals may have social anxiety depending on what they've had going on in their past or what they're currently going through when it comes to healthy relationships or toxic relationships. So that's another thing as leaders in our organizations to be mindful of that. How are we actually building that connection with our teams? How are we building our connection when it comes to entrepreneurship with our communities? Communities are not just physical, communities are diverse when it comes to the location. So you may have individuals that are part of your community that you're building for your business or for your organization that you work for. How are you keeping that connection? How are you keeping the sharing of communication? How is the learning experience for them? Are tools provided for them? Because everyone learns differently just as well as everyone works different. Yes, there's standard operation procedures, SOPs, when it comes to your work environment, but when it comes to the individual, when it comes to how they do things, it may not be the same. Some are more efficient in other areas than others. So how can you actually bring out their best by communicating with them and actually showing that you care, that genuine care for your employees, that genuine care for your subordinate leaders, or military, we say subordinate leaders, but for your corporate environment, your employee engagement, how are you doing that and building your teams? To include employers, how is that relationship, right? So then you have your environment. What does the environment look like in the home? What does the environment look like within the environment outside the home, your neighborhoods, or your working environment? All those are environments, again, not to be exclusive to just those, but there's so many. The digital space, social media platforms, how people communicate, like all these things combined are have play a part when it comes to our overall well-being. When it comes to self-care, you just can't really focus on one area, because one area will actually affect the other ones. So what I mean by that is, if you know that your physical health or your physical wellness is deteriorating, what are some things that you can change? Because there's other areas that may impact that. Yes, the physical will be your priority, but it's still going to play a role in your other self-care. The other self-care is finances and spirituality. So with finances, this is your livelihood. This is how you pay for things. This is how you live your life. This is how you where you live, your income coming in, your career. All those things play a role in finances. When it comes to retirement, when it comes to investing, all these things play a role. Investing not just in your future when it comes to retirement, but when you are actually looking at investing in your personal development, or investing in learning something new, learning a skill. When you're focusing on that, you really have to be intentional with everything, all these domains being intentional, but with your finances is being intentional with how you spend your money, because it's going to impact something else. So let me give you an example. If you know, and this is me, I'm in the personal development coaching realm, but I'm also in the military, so I'm a military professional. But if I know that I want to work in I want to build or enhance my skill in artificial intelligence. And I'll use the example because it's trendy, but any AI tools similar to ChatGPT or any other type of AI tools to help me better my environment when it comes to studying, when it comes to research, because I'm in academics, I'm an instructor. So with that, at this moment, when you're actually watching the video, this is what I'm doing right now. So, and also a content creator when it comes to coaching and leadership and things of that nature. So when it comes to research, when it comes to all those things, I want to learn how to use the tools. But when it comes to investing, being intentional is doing due diligence with, are the individuals credible? Who are the individuals I'm investing in? What is the ROI that I'm going to receive? Because I'm responsible for my learning experience, but also what platform am I going to be using? Do I have access to it? This is just minimal things, but when it comes to investing in finances, this is part of it. When you're investing in your overall well-being, are you seeing a therapist? Are you seeing a psychiatrist? Are you seeing a coach, a life coach, a business coach, whatever that is for you? if you are investing in these individuals, are they credible? What can you actually determine for yourself to say that, hey, these individuals are credible. This is what I want to do. And how long am I going to work with them? Because again, it goes back to finances. So you have to be intentional, because one thing may affect something else, right? So if you're spending $15,000 on a coaching program, um, knowing the expectations, because you have a role in it as well, but knowing the expectations and what your goal is in doing this coaching program, what is the ROI for you going to be, return on investment? What are some things that you are expecting to receive when you actually invest in this? Again, you're responsible for your experience as a student, a learner, when it comes to a coaching program, but the coach also has a responsibility as well, not for your 100% results, because you have to do, depending on what they're doing and the strategy they're providing, you still have a part to play in that. If you do nothing, you cannot blame the coach. If you are doing things and it's still not working, what are you doing with your coach, consultant, or whoever that professional is to help you move the needle and move forward? That's with anything. Even if you're doing you have a spiritual mentor. If you have a spiritual mentor and your mentor is not aligned with your beliefs and your value system, then the goals that you're looking for is not going to meet your expectation, because, for example, they don't believe anything that you believe. So your belief system, you could be a Christian and they could be an atheist, and based on their belief system and your belief system, not saying that it won't work, but your goals may be completely different from what they have, because of the simple fact that your value system as a Christian may not align with what they want you to do as far as moving forward. But again, this all goes back to being intentional and knowing exactly what you want. Okay. So that's an example, but not the only example. It could be you being a Christian coach and you actually going to someone that's um, into the new age. And so with the new age, some of the content or the delivery is not going to be the same from someone that has Christian principles. However, if you know what your goals are and they know what your goals are and you both align, then it will work out. But again, it goes back to alignment and intentionality. Okay. And so I talked about physical, emotional, mental, social relationships, environment, finances, and spirituality. Spiritual. When it comes to spiritual, the spiritual is part of the domains when it comes to self-care. So again, these are all the domains of self-care. So when it comes to the month of May, we talk about mental health awareness month. Again, mental care is part of the self-care, one of the self-care domains. So when you feel like you're anxious, when you feel like there's sadness, there's overwhelm, there's exhaustion and mental, it's you don't feel like you have the capacity to think, or you may be going through cognitive overload, or there may be other mental health issues that you may have. Knowing that you have that, it's very important for you to take care of yourself. That's prioritizing your self-care. It's not looking at yourself as if you're last and focusing on everyone else. It's you actually taking the time to identify what is it that you need, you setting the time to schedule those appointments, you taking the time to go to those appointments, not just scheduling them, because that's one part. The next part is actually going to that appointment and actually seeking the help. If the individual, the professional that you have is not providing what you need, the next step is to request for a referral for a specialty, because they may not be the individual that you need, or the professional that you need. That is for your mental fitness, your mental wellness. And this is something that may be continual for you. But as long as we are on this earth, there are always going to be instances or things that we may go through temporarily, but knowing where to go in that to reduce the issues that we may have. And again, relating it back to mental health. So I am not a mental health nurse practitioner. However, I am an advocate when it comes to mental health, and so I will always support practitioners that we have and the professionals that we have in that area. So, in any time that you feel as though that you are in need of support, please do not hesitate to contact a medical professional practitioner that is in that area of mental health. There's so many different avenues and approaches that you can go through with that, and then we're constantly growing in the mental health field. They're constantly growing other type of entities when it comes to that, to include mental health coaches, mental health trainers in certain areas. They can't diagnose you, but they can still be a guide to help you when it comes to certain areas that you're looking for, especially when it comes to mindset, journaling, when it comes to thought work, when it comes to education in certain areas of mental health. But again, they're not the ones to diagnose you, but they're those individuals to support and provide an education for you in that area. Now, so again, this is important, prioritizing self-care. So I wanted to talk about that briefly, and I did not want to take long with it because I will have short talks in reference to thriving in body and business. And so just a little bit about thriving in body and business. This is something that's dear to me, and it's important because when it comes to the body, we have to treat our body like it's the temple, right? And no one is going to be able to do that except for you. But when we are in leadership and leadership roles in different contexts, this could be, for me, I'm in the military, and I'm also exploring entrepreneurship as a coach and doing other freelance work. And so in that, you could be a career professional in corporate, it could be in military or in other different type settings. It's important for us to know that if we don't treat our body like a temple as a priority, no one else will, and everything else will impact, either in a negative way or a positive way, depending on how we value it and how we value our bodies, and impacts how we value everything else around us. That's part of us, and that's part of our business. So if our business is thriving, but we're not thriving in our body, eventually something's going to just stop or give out. And so we don't want that to be our body. We don't want that, because we only have one. So it's important for us to take the time to build our bodies, grow mind, body, spirit, because we only have one. And so it's important for us. So as I continue to move forward in the year, I want to have these short talks, but also if there's anything that you may need when it comes to personal development, coaching, I'm more than willing to have a conversation with you to see what it is that you need. I do service career professionals that are dual roles, meaning they are career professionals working 9 to 5 and also exploring entrepreneurship. So you're either a solopreneur or transitioning into building a team. But the key is you're dual hatted. So you're still a career professional because you love your job. However, you want to explore other things because you know that at the end of the day, your career is only going to go so long as you have a time to expire, just like I have a time to expire out of the military. So it's not forever. And so doing the things that you love is important, especially for your overall well-being, your purpose in life, and doing the thing that you love and not having it dormant because you're working for someone else. You can do the same thing. You can do both things and still be a career professional. It's all about your happiness, your overall well-being, not sacrificing your identity, not who you want to serve, but not sacrificing that. So it's important for you to truly know exactly what it is that you love doing outside of your profession, outside of your uniform. So really, I honor you in everything that you do, but I really truly want you to take the time to really look at that. What is it that I love doing? What is it that I love doing that if I didn't get paid doing it, that I would continue to do it? All right, I love you, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you for connecting with me here on Coffee and Connect. And if you have anything, please send me a DM or send me a message here. Bye-bye for now.